Hello and welcome to our Israel presentation. I'm so sorry that I can't be with you in person. However, I'm excited because the reason I can't be with you in person is because I am in Israel while you're at this meeting. And I'm really excited about that because this is my first time back since my last group, which was in February of 2020. And right after that group, the world shut down and travel shut down. So it's exciting to be able to tell you that travel is everything is open in Israel. Everything is running really smoothly. People are managing COVID, and it's back to actually the numbers of tourists that are coming into Israel right now have surpassed the numbers that were in 2019, and those were record numbers. So I first had the opportunity to visit Israel in 1996 with a group of travel advisors, and when I was there, it changed my life. And I've put on the slide here a life-shaping experience. I used to say it's a life-changing experience because I really believe that Israel is. However, so many products, like even underwear and cleaning products, will tell you that it's life changing. So it's that term is so overused. I'm going to say it's a life shaping experience because I believe that what's going to happen is you are going to go to Israel and it's going to shape you and into the person that you are becoming, and you will never do so many things the same way anymore because of the way it's going to shape you. And that's going to take you through your life. And so I'm really excited that you're going to be doing that. And you're going to be joining Pastor Martin and his wife, lovely wife, Rebecca. So my role for the trip will be as the tour coordinator and the tour escort. And Pastor Martin will be your spiritual leader. So he will be doing some devotionals at some of the sites that are going to be really to make those meaningful, those sites. So what I want to do tonight is I want to walk you through what our tour is going to be like. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's take off because we are going to be traveling on an Air Canada 787 Dreamliner. It's the newest jets that are out, and it's a wide body jet. It's the configuration is 3 seats across the cabin. And it's kind of interesting that when Pastor Martin went to Israel with me, I believe it was back in 2018, maybe 2019, might have been January 2019, but I think it was 2018. We were traveling on El Al, and on our flight home, they had just instituted the use of 787s. And so we flew on the inaugural flight of their 787 Dreamliner on our flight home. So you'll really enjoy this aircraft. Instead of having shades that you pull up and down, the window shades, you just touch a button and they darken gradually and then they lighten gradually. There's a lot of really neat features in the aircraft. But something that everybody always wants to know is how much baggage can we take? And so I will tell you that you can take one check bag, um, and it can be 50 pounds or 23 kilograms. You can take one carry-on bag, and the dimensions are there. It has to fit in the little folder that they have at the airport. And then you can take one personal item. So for a woman, that might be a purse, it might be a backpack, it might be a camera bag. For guys, you can take that one personal item as well as your carry-on. So the check-in process will be very smooth at Air Canada. You'll go to Terminal 1 in Toronto, and you'll actually be able to check in online 24 hours prior. And then when you arrive at the airport, you'll just go to the kiosk and you'll print your boarding pass if you didn't do so already, and you'll print your luggage tags. You'll put them on the tags on, and then you'll just take your luggage to the automatic luggage taker, and it will whisk your luggage away, and it'll get put on the plane for you. The flight will be very comfortable. It is a long flight. I won't lie to you about that. It's 11 and a half hours going and 12 hours coming back because of tailwinds. but it's very comfortable. Our flight time is at 4:45 p.m. So we'll get on the plane, we'll take off, and then they will be serving a dinner, probably snack service first, I would think. And then they'll come around with dinner. Then they'll dim the lights, and you can keep watching your entertainment system if you want, or reading, whatever. You'll have your own personal light, but they'll dim the cabin lights in case you do want to go to sleep. And you'll have a nice long stretch to fall asleep. So I would advise that you bring something that's going to make you comfortable when you're on the flight. So don't wear tight fitting clothes. Wear something that's stretchy. Wear comfortable shoes. Bring a little pair of slippers if you want, if that makes you more comfortable. They will give you a blanket and a pillow. It's very small, but you'll have that blanket and pillow. But if you like to have one of those neck pillows, you might want to bring that. Or some people have one of those slings that you put around the seat in front of you and you can put your feet up on it. That's something you can find on Amazon. And just depending on whether if you are not a good sleeper, you might want to take some actual magnesium a few days before the flight. It helps to relax your muscles. And I just find that when I take it in the evening, it helps me to relax as well. So that's just something I might suggest. So when we arrive in Israel, we'll be arriving at Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. And the picture that you see on your right is actually the picture of a little welcome desk that's in the arrivals hall. So when we get there, we will go through a passport control area where it's like a large room. It's kind of like Toronto, but I think it's a little bit more chaotic. I hope by then I'll let you know. After I'm there in November, I'll let you know how chaotic it is. But anyway, you'll go and you'll see a customs person. And basically, they will stamp your passport, or they will stamp a piece of paper that they will put in your passport, and then you will have to hand that back in when you go back. A lot of Middle Eastern countries do that. They don't allow you to have that stamp in your passport. So after they stamp your passport, you'll get a little ticket, and then you'll go through a turnstile. And once you come through that turnstile, you're in the baggage hall right there. You don't have to walk any further to that. There will be somebody waiting for you that will say, "Welcome to Israel," or something like that. It'll say Grace Gospel Church. That's what I'm going to have them put on the sign. And you will find that person, and they will probably have Wired for Travel, a logo is on the sign as well. And when you find that person, they are going to tell you where to go, what carousel to go to get your luggage. And then they're going to say, "Get your luggage and come back right here, and we'll meet back here." And so that picture that's on the bottom right, we're going to be probably meeting right in front of that kiosk. And once we've all gathered our luggage, and there's washrooms right in there. So if you need to use the washroom, we'll come back and we'll all be together. And then we will exit the building together to meet our guide. The person who's the greeter, who just is holding the sign, they can take us all the way out to meet our guide. Unfortunately, our guide is not allowed to come inside. So that's why we do it that way. And we'll meet our guide. Our guide will take us to the coach that'll be waiting for us. And here is our guide. Our guide is Nathan Hetron. I meant to put his last name in there. Nathan has been in the travel industry for a really long time. He actually started out as a guide. Then after about 20 years, he went to work in the offices of Kenneth Tours, who has organized our touring for us. And since COVID, he has started back into guiding again, because that's his passion. He really loves that. And he loves being with people. He loves talking about Israel. And something that you may not know is that Israeli guides must be university educated. They must have a specialty like archaeology. They have to be proficient in Old Testament and New Testament, and also in archaeology, in geology, in history, and in literature. Nathan, I would guess, and I don't know this for sure, but I would say he's probably not a believer in Jesus, but he has the unique gift of being able to challenge believers in their faith. So I think you're going to really enjoy him, and he'll be able to give us a lot of insight about Israel, about the background, about the culture, the customs, and then also about, you will be surprised to see how much he knows his Bible. So here's a map of Israel. And what I wanted to show you is that the our itinerary kind of builds as we go along. But what I wanted to show you is the size of Israel, first of all. It's the same size as the state of New Jersey, if you've ever been there. It's about half the size of PEI. And the yellowish area up at the top is Caesarea is about at the top there. Caesarea Philippi, I mean, sorry, in the north. And then this shows to the very south of the Dead Sea. So I haven't even shown the whole country of Israel. But our itinerary does build. We start in the Mediterranean when we land, and then we go to Galilee. Then we go down to the Dead Sea. They call it down because we're going to the lowest place on earth. And then we go up to Jerusalem, which is in a mountain. So that's why we say we're going up to Jerusalem. So on our arrival day, we will, after we've left the airport, we'll go straight to the town of Jaffa, or Joppa, as we know from the Bible. We're going to have a walking tour of Joppa. And then what we'll do is we will go straight along to our hotel. And I just want to make sure yeah, it's in Netanya, not in Tel Aviv. So we're going to go straight up to Netanya, which is just north of Tel Aviv. It's on a really neat area. And we will check into our hotel. So, of course, I should have looked at the next slide. Our first hotel is the Leonardo Plaza in Netanya. So it's right on the edge of the Mediterranean, but it's built up on a little cliff. So there's stairs going down and you cross the highway to get over to the beach. So it's a really neat place to walk on the beach when we arrive, and you will be able to see the sunset because we'll be facing west. Beautiful. All of the hotels we're going to be staying in are 4 to 4.5 star. They've been chosen for their excellent locations, and they're all clean, very modern. They all have great food. I would say the difference between a 4-star and a 5-star hotel is mainly 5-star hotel would have a concierge if you wanted to do day tours on your own, which we're not needing to do. Or 5-star hotels have convention and meeting space. And so the hotels we are going to be at are smaller and they don't have that. But all of our hotels have a little gift shop and they have a dining room. Our next hotel is going to be right on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. So then after watching the sunset the night before, when we get to the Galilee, you'll be able to watch the sun rise, which is beautiful there too. And I should point out that all the hotels also in Israel, no matter whether it's 4-star or 5-star, are fairly small compared to North American hotels. They all have twin beds that they put together if you want your beds together, so they make it up like it looks like a king bed, or you can have them separate if you're sharing with somebody who's not your spouse. The kibbutz, the Nof Ginosar hotel where we're going to be staying is actually a working kibbutz. And we are going to be staying in the village section, which is a series of bungalows that are nestled in a gardens area, I would call it, lots of trees. Every one of the bungalows has a patio outside where you can sit in the evenings. They're very comfortable. They have a full bathroom, and some of them even have a little kitchenette area where like there's a kitchen sink, maybe a mini fridge. They have a couch in the room, but they're very comfortable, and they're all joined together by pathways and then as we walk along the pathway, we get to the main hotel where the main dining room is. But it's situated right on the Sea of Galilee. And actually the picture at the top left is a picture of their pool. And I'm sad to say that the pool will not be open in January, but you can swim in the Sea of Galilee if you want to. And there's a really nice area. You can walk down there and there's a dock and you can go and just sit on the dock first thing in the morning and watch the sunrise. Very, very beautiful. The next hotel we're going to have is the Dead Sea, is in the Dead Sea, and it's the David Hotel. So we're staying in the Galilee for 3 nights and then at David Hotel in the Dead Sea for 1 night, just because it is a little farther away and it's we're going to be able to experience a float in the Dead Sea. So as you see on the bottom right photo, the hotel has an indoor heated pool that is filled with water from the Dead Sea, which is really neat because if you don't want to go, you are more than welcome. It's situated, the hotel is right on the Dead Sea, so you are welcome to go and swim in the Dead Sea, and many people will be doing that. It'll be a little cooler, but it is quite an experience. But you'll be able to float just the same if you go into the pool. And it's really an interesting phenomena to be floating in the Dead Sea. It's because it's so full of not just, my sheet tells you what's in it, the minerals that are in the Dead Sea. It's not just salt, but there's like really high bromides, magnesium, other minerals that are really, really good for your skin. And I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute when I tell you about something else to do with the Dead Sea. But the Dead Sea is something that is not to be missed. You will sleep like a baby that night, and you will definitely have to wash the salt off. There's showers right in the pool area, and also outside on the shore. But and if you want to go down to the shore of the Dead Sea, there will be mud there that you can. It's black mud you put on. It's a really great exfoliant, but also it removes impurities from your skin. So that's kind of a highlight of going right down to the Dead Sea if you want to. But you will sleep so well that night. You'll have the best sleep of your life. I just know it. And then after that night at the Dead Sea, then we're going to head up to Jerusalem and we will be staying at the Prima Royale Hotel, which is a little boutique hotel. I say little, it's like 8 stories, but it's a lot smaller than other hotels, but it has that really small, homey boutique feel. And I really love this hotel. It has a beautiful breakfast room and a separate dining room. And I will tell you about that in a moment. Most hotels in Israel have free Wi-Fi in the lobby and also in your room. And also on the bus, on the coach, we will have Wi-Fi available. So this just shows you a map of the old city. So this is the old city here. I'm just going to circle it here. And then this is where our hotel is, where the red pin is. I just wanted to show you how close we are in that hotel to both the Jaffa gates, and which is right here, where the Tourist Information Center is, and also to the Zion Gate. So there's two gates that we're really close to. And some people in my groups have just decided after a couple of days in Jerusalem, they feel comfortable to get up really, really early in the morning before the sun comes up and walk to one of those gates to go into the old city before everything wakes up, or to go in the evening. It's very safe to walk outside in Jerusalem. And you might want to just take an evening stroll and go back into the old city. It's really neat to see it in the evening. So here's a typical day. This is what we're going to be doing each day. We will have a buffet breakfast. And the reason I was telling you about 2 dining rooms is because the first meal, our breakfast, will be in one dining room or dining area. And then the second meal, the dinner, will be in a different dining room. And that is because that all food is kosher in Israel. And that means that they cannot mix milk and meat. That's kind of the basic, the main part of being kosher. So our breakfast will be totally dairy. And you will be amazed to see how much of a variety of food there is when there is no meat involved, but it's all dairy. So of course you have all of your breads and your cereals. You have lots of different types of yogurts, of cheese, spreads. There will be fish. There will be salads. Israelis love salads for breakfast, and it's everything is very fresh and whole food. And you won't be disappointed. There's a lot to eat, and a lot of dried fruits, a lot of fresh fruits as well, and vegetables. So after breakfast, we'll start our tour. We usually begin around 8 a.m., between 8 and 9 a.m. And we will stop for lunch along the way. Sometimes we'll be going into a restaurant where we'll all sit together. Other times the guide will say, okay, here, there's a variety of different places you can go, meet back here in an hour. It really does depend. And so I've asked you to budget about between $15 and $20 US per person for your lunches. There will be some days you don't spend as much as 15, and then there will be other days when it will be 20. Then we're going to have dinner at our hotel in the evening. And so that dinner will be either it'll be in a different restaurant, or it will be in the same restaurant we were in, but they use a different kitchen because they always have to use separate kitchens. So for dinner, there will be no dairy at dinner. So you won't have cream for your coffee, no milk for your tea. All the desserts will be dairy free, but you will be amazed to see what they can do and how delicious everything is, even though it's dairy free. It does not taste processed at all. What else? A lot of different variety of meat dishes, vegetables, salads. Again, it'll be very plentiful. There will be a couple of evenings during our time there where we will meet and unpack what we've been learning and experienced. And I know Pastor Martin will be looking forward to leading us in that. Well, that's all I'll say about that for now. So some of the highlights of our tour, I would say, are Mount Carmel, baptism in the Jordan. That picture that you see of the baptism, that was actually a group of pastors that I took to Israel, way back in the early 2000s, I think. And these two pastors brought their wives, and their wives wanted to be baptized by their husbands. And I don't know if it really shows up on the screen there or not for you, but when they brought their wives out of the water, well, this is actually the first wife came out of the water. I didn't realize it till after I got this photo later and I looked at it. There were like rays of sunshine coming down on them. It was really moving to see that. That was a really special time. Also, going to the Western Wall. Many people are really excited about going to the Western Wall. And like this woman that's here, you can go up and pray at the wall. Many people write prayers on pieces of paper and they roll them up and they stick them in the cracks. So that's what you see there. And every so often, when it's closed at night, there's like a caretaker who goes and takes all those prayers and they save them. They never throw them out. They save them. And so that's a very meaningful experience for a lot of people. Also, on the Sea of Galilee, I'm sure that that's going to be really a special experience for you as we float on this float on a boat on the Sea of Galilee, and just have a devotional time there, maybe a time of singing and worship, and floating in the Dead Sea, of course, I told you about, but also the Garden Tomb, being able to go and see the tomb that might not be the tomb and probably isn't the tomb where Jesus actually was laid, but you'll be able to see what it was like, and you'll see how it was in a garden setting, and it'll just make the resurrection so much more meaningful to you. So here's some more information about the tour. There's going to be lots of walking each day. And the ground there is not even. It's not like walking on our sidewalks or our roadways here in Canada. In many areas, the ground is very uneven. For example, when we're in the old city, it's all cobblestones. There's a lot of steps and inclines. So I would say that by the time we go, you should be able to walk up a moderate incline for 30 minutes straight. So whether you have an incline on your treadmill, and I mean at a moderate pace too. If you have a treadmill, you could try it on there and practice, or it's better to be doing it outside. Now that the winter weather is going to be coming, it's going to be a little harder, but something I recommend that you do is go to a mall when it's really snowy outside. Go to a mall and just walk up their stairs, walk up the steps, walk down to the other end, come down, then do it again, and keep doing a circle where you're walking up the steps. And that'll help as well too. So make sure you start now if you haven't already. The other thing that I wanted to tell you about is the weather in Israel. And many people you've seen probably pictures or you've heard about how hot it is in the summer months. And that usually is the summer months. They can get up to, well, here it says 28 to 39 in July. I think that's really low. I think I've been in the Dead Sea area, like on Masada in March, where it's been like 44 degrees. You don't feel it like 44 because it's so dry, but you still need to be drinking a lot of water. It won't be that hot when we're there in January, but I think it's going to be a little bit warmer than these temperatures show here. For example, when we start in Tel Aviv, it says 9 to 19. So you can imagine you can probably walk on the Mediterranean with a sweater on and you're going to be very comfortable. Then when we go to the Galilee area, which is Tiberias, it'll be around the same temperatures. And the Dead Sea is going to be the warmest area. And I would say it might even get up to 25 when we're there. 12 is pretty low for the Dead Sea. I've never been there when it's been that low. It's been more 20 to 30 degrees. And in Jerusalem is when it's going to be the coolest. So when it says 6 degrees, that's usually like early in the morning. So when we start out, it might be a really chilly morning. In fact, when we were there with the pastors group that Pastor Martin came on, we had snow in January. We came out to the bus and there was snow on the ground. So that really made for interesting driving. I think we postponed our departure time a little bit just to wait for the snow to melt a bit. But once we got going, we were fine and it didn't last very long. And but the thing is that it warms up through the day and you might be able to take your jacket off by mid-afternoon. So my recommendation would be just to bring layers. And so when we're in Jerusalem, you might have a t-shirt on with a hoodie, like what I've got on, and then have a windbreaker jacket that you can put on top if it is cooler. And you'll be fine with that. And then that way on the other days when we are having warmer weather, a t-shirt is fine as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're wearing shorts when we're at the Dead Sea. Okay, so here are the things that we are including in the trip. The meet and greet service that I told you about already will be transferred from the airport to the hotel of course, the meet and greet is going to take us to Jaffa for a walking tour and then to the hotel. But the departure transfer from Jerusalem to the airport is also included. 1 night in Netanya, 3 nights at the Sea of Galilee, 1 night at the Dead Sea, and then 3 nights in Jerusalem. Porterage at all our hotels. So I'm going to be making luggage tags for you. Feel free to have your own regular luggage tag, but I'm going to have a luggage tag kind of like this. You can see that because of my light. That has your name on it, and it's really just to identify our luggage for the porters at the hotels, because they will bring our bags to our rooms. They'll deliver them for us, and they will also the morning that we're leaving that hotel, they'll tell us to leave our bags outside our door at a certain time, and then they'll come around and they'll collect them for us. One of the reasons they like to do this is because the elevators in Israel are very small and they have service elevators that they will use. But for you and I and maybe one other person to get into an elevator and get our luggage in there, it would be really crowded. So they like to look after the luggage for us. So that's the reason for that. Another fun thing about the elevators before I go on is when we are I believe it's when we're in Jerusalem, we will be celebrating Shabbat. It will be Friday night. And as soon as sundown hits, that's the start of Sabbath or Shabbat. And it lasts until sundown the next day, Saturday. And during Shabbat, no work can be done. And so all the elevators are automatic. So it would be working to press a button of an elevator So you will notice a lot of Israeli families come to our hotel and have dinner there. And that's so they don't have to do the work of making dinner at home. I'm not sure who is making the dinner at the hotel. It might be like people from other nationalities, maybe. But the elevator stops at every floor. So if you try to call the elevator or if you go into an elevator and try and push a button, it's not going to do you any good because the elevator just stops at every floor. So that's another reason why it's nice that our hotel only has 8 floors, because if we were in a 20-story high rise, we'd be in the elevator all night. Okay, and we're going to be getting breakfast and dinner daily. And then 7 days of touring with our English-speaking government license guide. And of course, our transportation in the air-conditioned coach and our entrance fees, Wi-Fi on the bus, as I mentioned. And I'm going to be also giving you a passport wallet with your name tag in it. It's kind of like this. Check my name out, but it looks like this. It'll have your name in here, but it has some zippers, it has Velcro, and it's really great for storing your wallet in it and any money. There's lots of little pockets, and you can use it as a neck wallet, I guess, to hold around you, or you can put it around you like this, up the side of you. And if you have a jacket, then you can just kind of, if we're in an area that's really crowded, you can just kind of tuck it in underneath your jacket, and it just keeps everything safe for you. So I'll be giving you that probably when we get to the airport. I'll have them for you. So what is not included? One of the extra things that I'm asking you to bring is $150 US per person. So if there's 2 of you traveling, each of you bring 150 US, and that's going to be for the gratuities, not just for the driver and the guide, but also for the hotel staff and for the porters, hotel staff, like the restaurant staff, and also housekeeping and restaurant staff. Not included are any of your lunches. So you will be on your own for lunch, so bring money for that. I will tell you that almost everywhere takes credit cards. So if you bring any cash, if you like using a credit card because you want those receipts and you want to be able to keep those, I would say you don't need much cash at all, but there are going to be a few places that take cash only. And you can bring either US dollars. They love US dollars. I would say not Canadian because they can't use toonies and loonies. So US is a little bit more accepted. And or you can buy shekels at an currency place. Most of the major malls in Ontario have it's called Continental Currency, and they have shekels on hand. That's where I go and get my shekels, and they usually have lots. Also, your beverages during meals. So coffee and tea at the breakfast buffet, of course, coffee and tea, it'll be a station where you can go and serve yourself. Same with juices. But when we're at dinner, if you wanted, say, a specialty coffee or tea, specialty tea, or if you wanted to have a glass of wine or beer, that would be extra. I said $15 to $20 per lunch because that wasn't the beverages that cost that. That was what your lunches will cost. And then anything personal. So if you wanted to buy some souvenirs, stamps to send postcards, if you like sending postcards. The time when you will need coins is if we are in an area that needs pay toilet. Excuse me. Okay, sorry. I knew that was coming. I need to just take a drink. So there's a couple spots where if you really need a toilet, it's inside a church or whatever, and they might have one, but you have to pay a coin. And it's usually like 5 shekels or maybe only a shekel. So that would be the time when you might need cash. Anytime you're looking for a snack while we're out touring and there's a little, food cart, vending cart set up. And sometimes they have like really neat pastries and stuff. It's called halva. It's made from sesame paste. And they might only take cash for that. Also, when we're at the Jordan River, there's going to be an opportunity for you to be baptized if you want to be. And they have a little amenity kit that's a gown, towel, and a key for a locker. And that's usually approximately $15. And if you wanted to get a towel at the Dead Sea, which you actually won't need to do for our tour because you're going to be at the Dead Sea right at our hotel. So you'll be able to take a towel from the hotel. However, I would also advise if you wanted to take your own towel, just bring an old towel from home that's like not too heavy. Just in case the hotel towels aren't big enough or whatever, but they will let you take them down to the Dead Sea. What else? Oh, Ahava. I've put Ahava there because that's what I wanted to tell you about the Dead Sea. Ahava, and there's some other companies as well, but Ahava is the name of one of the original companies that started making skin products from the minerals and from the mud from the Dead Sea and also from the water from the Dead Sea. And I can't wait to go back to Israel so I can buy more Ahava because I really missed it during COVID. I ran through all of my Ahava, but not just like, nice, really nice hand creams and face creams, but also salts and liquid salt for your bath. Also mud. I've got a really neat mud mask that I still use that I got the last time I was there. And you can buy the black mud, pouches of the black mud that you can do your own mud masking when you're at home. So that might be something that you want to take money for, but anywhere that sells Ahava for sure takes credit cards. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you is that if you didn't purchase insurance from me, I know that many of you have already gotten your insurance from me, but if you didn't, I'm going to need your insurance information because I am insisting you need to have be protected with travel protection. If you haven't purchased insurance yet, you can still do so up to the time of your departure, but just remember you're not covered. If something happened that would cause you to not be able to travel between now and then you're covered if you have insurance. So if you haven't sent me your own insurance information, if you booked it with me, I've got it. But if you have your own insurance through work or whatever, and you haven't sent it to me, I need the insurance company, the name of the insurance company, I need the policy number, and I need the emergency phone number of the insurance company, the collect number that they give you. So it's usually the local number, not the 800 number. And I keep that just in a file, just in case there's an occurrence of some kind that would make you not be able to access your information. If I needed to get instant information about your insurance to give to the hospital or whatever. So that's the only reason I keep that in a file. And here's a few suggestions on what to pack, but I also am giving Pastor Martin a handout of a packing list, so that should help you. But you'll need a hat for the sunny days. Also, anything you bring, please bring it, make sure that it's modest. I don't think anybody in our group, we have to worry about anybody not wearing modest clothes, but you can wear a tank top and you can wear shorts when we're at the Dead Sea. But in all the other areas, it's best to wear either long pants or capris for women or longer shorts for other areas. Because Israel is a very modest country. You'll notice in Tel Aviv, it's not. It's very very international, and people there wear anything. But when you get to the Galilee area and also in Jerusalem, you'll see that it's a lot of more modesty displayed. So when we go into some of the churches that we'll be visiting, women must have their shoulders covered. And so if you have a t-shirt and it's got like short sleeves, that's fine. But if you are wearing a tank top, just make sure you bring along a shawl or some kind of a scarf that you can put around your shoulders. And that will serve the purpose of covering your shoulders. Also, like I mentioned, if you want to bring an old towel for when you're at the Dead Sea, or also, I'm just thinking of also probably an old towel would be great for if you might want to get baptized in the Jordan River, because I have a feeling those amenity kits that they give for the baptism, the towels are really, really thin. They're like a J cloth. But something that you should bring is water shoes for the Dead Sea. So I have a pair of sandals that are waterproof and they're very secure, that I only use for the Dead Sea. So that's what I'll be bringing. But some people bring Crocs. Just make sure that they're really tight on you because they can float off your feet really easily. So they're probably not the ideal, but water shoes are really ideal. And that's because the shore of the Dead Sea and the bottom of the Dead Sea is all salt. And so it's not like walking on a sandy beach. It's really slippery because it's just pure salt. Another thing you might want to bring too are face cloths because the hotels in Israel generally do not provide face cloths. One might surprise us one time and give us some, but as a rule, they don't. So if you like to use a face cloth, then I would say bring your own and then just hang it out to dry, and don't forget to pack it when you pack up. The other thing that I'm asking you to do is I would like you to consider bringing a little thank you gift for our guide and our driver. And the reason that I like to ask for that is because I just find it kind of breaks the ice, and it's they really appreciate it, that to know that we've been thinking about them ahead of time. So I just know that with Nathan, he's got little grandchildren. And if he wanted to bring just a small toy for his grandchildren, he's got both boys and girl grandsons and granddaughters that are little. I think I showed you a picture of one of his little ones, but I think they're like all under 10 years old. Maybe you could bring a small toy, or you might want to bring them something that's unique to Canada, something, maybe a ball cap of one of our teams, or Jays or Leafs, or whoever you follow, or maybe the ball cap of a team that you don't follow, so that's why you want to bring it. Maybe I don't know, just something that's unique that maybe they might not get over in Israel. You can actually Google to find out what chocolate bars and what candy they don't have in Israel that we have in Canada. There's quite a few things in Canada that are not sold anywhere else in the world. One of them is Smarties. Did you know that a lot of areas, including in many of the states in the United States, they do not have Smarties. So they don't know what Smarties are. I think there's a candy in the US called Smarties, but it's not anything like what our Smarties are like. So if you would just bring that, and I would say $5 tops. Don't spend a lot of money, but just to show them our appreciation. And then on about the third night maybe, or the fourth night, we'll get together after dinner and we'll present them with our gifts just to say thanks for being our guide and our driver. And it will really go a long way in warming them up to us, and just establishing a little bit of rapport as well. And they will just really appreciate it. So for your carry-on luggage, make sure you pack all your medications in your carry-on. And then, of course, your liquids, anything over 100 milliliters, has to be packed in your checked bag. If you have something that's less than 100 milliliters, you can bring it in your carry-on, as long as those bottles of liquid can all fit into a 1 liter Ziploc bag. So you put them all into a 1 liter Ziploc bag, seal it, and then when we go through security in Canada, you will have to take that bag out and put it separate from your luggage. And if you have your liquids scattered all through your bag, they're going to pull your bag aside, and that's going to hold you up. So just make sure you pack all your liquids that are less than 100 milliliters into a 1 liter Ziploc bag and make sure they all fit in there. If they don't fit in there, then consider packing them in your checked. And this is the time when I would be asking for questions, but I can't listen to your questions. So I know that Pastor Martin will be happy to answer your questions. I'm also handing out a list of frequently asked questions, so the answers might be on there already. And if not, and if Pastor Martin can't answer your question, I would be glad to answer your questions if you want to just email me. So thank you so much. And I know that this is going to be a life-shaping experience for you. And you will never be the same after visiting Israel. You will never read your Bible in the same way again. And you'll never look at the life and ministry of Jesus in the same way again. So I'm looking forward to meeting you at the airport, or if maybe sooner. And we're going to have a wonderful time in Israel together in January. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.